freshening everything. It was then that people started to notice. A gentleman who lived there called his 2 dogs to come. Let's go for the walk. Every morning they walk on the beaches together. The dogs bound to the door in excitement and can't wait to go. But on this morning, they whine and they roll and they cover their little muzzles. They don't want to walk the beach and play in the waves. What's the matter with you guys? Come on, let's go to the beach, come on. But the dogs just whine and fuss as if they're ill. And he doesn't understand what's the matter with his dogs, for they do this every day. He can't even hold them back. And the dogs stay home, and so he stays with them. A little while later, people look out of balconies from beautiful apartments and hotel rooms, and they see this setting. And out there, they see it coming. They see a wall of water coming at them, a wall of water 100 feet high. It's December 26, 2004, and the great tsunami is headed towards shore. A wall of 100-foot water, tall as these buildings, is coming towards them, and the screams and the shouts echo through the hallways as people run from that towns along the beaches, run in desperation. The tsunami comes. The 9.3 earthquake deep beneath the ocean has shifted the water, and here it comes. There are no fish in it, they've gone deep. People reported seeing elephants running to high ground, heading for the mountains and the forests. In a most decided manner, they have left their compounds, they're going upland. There are no birds singing in the trees that day. It's hushed as the water attacks the coastlines, and it takes over the buildings and the squares and all the markets. It floods inland, and then it recedes back to the sea where it came from, salting the earth, poisoning the wells, and killing 300,000 people. And rescue workers rush to the aid of this piece of the world so stricken now. And what do they find but all the sadness and the bodies? But there's a strange thing as they walk through the devastation, helping where they can. Where are all the dead animals? There are none. Unless they were tied or penned or captured within a building's confines, there are no dead animals. They were listening. They felt the tremors of the earth beneath their feet. They smelled the water on the wind. They left before it came. But we're not listening anymore. We're too busy putting in our earbuds and walking through nature to a deaf ear. We're not listening to nature anymore. We're not feeling the earth beneath our feet. The wind, we're not smelling the scent of snow, the scent of rain, the scent of waves. We've stopped listening. We're losing that sixth sense, our connection to nature. There's a house along a pipeline in Connecticut with a landscape garden yard that's stunningly beautiful. Each season the flowers are there to attract the birds and the bees and to feed them the nectars they depend upon. In the trees there are bird houses and bird feeders with the finest seeds put out. And yet there's only an occasional bird passing through. They never stay. No one rents the empty birdhouses. They stay vacant, getting fresh paint and care. But no birds stay. You see, they're listening, and they know the pipeline is there. They don't want to live in that neighborhood. They fly on. They have the choice, and they heard the message from the earth. Can they sense the surging of the natural gas below? Can they feel it? Can they smell when those vents let out that sickening smell of rotten eggs? That's mercaptan they add to gas because it's odorless. And they put that mercaptan in, it's a benign ingredient, so that we know gas is present. Mercaptan, don't worry, it's nothing to worry about. Except that when it releases, when they vent those gas lines, it joins all the carbon dioxide these cars are giving off, and that forms formaldehyde. That's a carcinogen. And so while we're racing for the cure, no one's racing for the cause. But there it is, right in the air we breathe. The pipeline, rolls through countryside, and now Spectra Energy wants to increase it, add more pipes, 26 to 42 inches in diameter, the size of a hula hoop, those pipes, with natural gas surging through them across our state. They said New England needs clean energy. That's a marketing term. Connecticut needs clean energy. Connecticut is energy sufficient at this point. Massachusetts is turning to renewables and a wind farm in the Atlantic Ocean. New England doesn't need more natural gas piped here from fracking in Pennsylvania. And yet if you dig deep enough in the computers, it'll finally regurgitate the volumes and the papers. And it'll tell you Canada wants energy from Spectra. Canada's willing to buy. We're just letting that pipeline go right through our neighborhood, tear up our yards, pass us by, vent their chemicals, so that we can line someone's pockets with the money and gas sold to Canada. That gas and those pipelines methodically move through the state, each going through compression stations where they pump it up to high pressure to move it on. They must vent regularly to maintain the pressure at a certain level. They're letting that go. I smell it at the station near my house. I smell it by the hay fields it passes through where we grow feed for our cows. I smell it in my sister-in-law's backyard. It passes by the middle school. I can smell gas there some days. What are we doing to our children? What legacy are we leaving that generation if we're willing to let this come through our neighborhoods, our towns, our houses? What are we doing? Are we listening? Spectra Energy, Kinder Morgan, we don't want bigger pipelines. We want a clean Connecticut, a place to raise children, a place where they'll grow up happy and healthy. We don't want this project tearing up the earth. That methane that's affecting our ozone. They say it's clean energy. That's an oxymoron. It's a dirty clean energy. You see, it burns clean. But they leak so much in the production and the piping and the venting and the construction that it ruins the ozone to equal anything else we're burning. It's a dirty, clean energy. They're just marketing it as clean. We don't want their dirty, clean energy here. We want it to move on or move out. Spectra Energy and Kinder Morgan, they plan this huge expansion of the pipeline, only in sections. Environmental impact to do the whole thing to 42 inches would be too much, so we'll just segment it and do a little bit. And then later they'll apply and do another segment. Segmenting a project is against the law, but they're hoping no one will notice. Are you listening? Have a voice. Say something about this project. Fight it, because it's coming to your backyard. You never know where that gas will vent, where it will join mysteriously and blindly with other chemicals. Are you breathing it now? There's a compression station right here in Bridgeport. All those vents, all those compression stations, taking natural fracked gas from the fields of Pennsylvania where they have raped the earth with their stations to pump that out of the earth. It looks there and in Colorado on the Rhone Plateau like something from a sci-fi movie set. It's a foreign landscape void of the beautiful things that we call Mother Earth. The birds and the wildlife have long since listened and gone. They're not there anymore. They know better. And the pipeline continues to bring up that gas. 60% of the gas in those pipelines is fracked gas. Fracking, raping the earth and taking it. When we have all this energy right above us, that we're not utilizing fully. There's a time and a place, and it's gone by. That was the new science. We have another science now. Let's back up and go back to the humans who listened to the earth beneath our feet, who felt on the wind and in the sun the messages nature was sending to us. There's another thing that comes up with that fracked gas. It's called radon. If you have radon in your basement, it has to be vented. It's poison to your system. Radon comes up with fracked gas. There's nothing can be done about that. It's part and parcel. And it goes on through those pipelines, that radon flowing with the gas. But it clogs the pipes like our pictures of arteries clogged with fats. And they get slower and slower. So every now and then a giant thing like a roto-rooter comes out. It's called pigging as they clean those pipelines. They're cleaning that heavy deposit of radioactive isotopes. Radon decays to that chemical compound. And what do they do with that? It takes 200 years for that to decay and go away. Where are they putting all that garbage? Are they leaving it in your neighborhood? Is it in my neighborhood? Is it buried beneath a playground somewhere? In 1998, a terrible disaster hit in Louisiana where pipes that had been there in the pipeline were repurposed, sold. Good used material, repurpose, recycle. But a parent walking through his children's playground with a Geiger counter heard the tick, 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 and watched the needle rise. They were radioactive pipes supporting all those play structures. What are we leaving that generation for a legacy? Are we leaving them the Mother Earth that we received? Or are we leaving them some dirty, clean energy copy of it, not worth living in? It's up to us to leave a legacy for tomorrow. It's up for us to fight an expanded pipeline through Connecticut, through Bridgeport, through my town of Mansfield, through Chaplin, where they've already upgraded the compression station, where the employees were nauseous and had bloody noses from the venting chemistry. There's a town in California where they had a leak for an entire month. Whole neighborhoods suffered bloody noses, nausea, and tremors. It was just mercaptan. It's benign. Don't believe it. Are you listening? Are you listening, Spectre Energy? Kinder Morgan, we don't want your pipeline in Bridgeport. We don't want it in Connecticut. Take it, put it back in the earth, leave it alone. Let's look to the sun for more answers. Thank you very much.